Good afternoon. It's a stormy day. It's Storm Kira, apparently. Very windy. It has been very rainy as well, but bright occasionally, kind of on and off. I was earlier than I did. I was going to go to town and visit CX and top up my travel card, which I lost during the week. Quite unlike me. And I decided not to because it was, well, basically I got soaked through having been out of the house for about a minute, so I retreated, but the weather improved, so I went. I'd forgotten the photo for my travel card, so I couldn't do that. And none of which is of any interest to anyone watching this, if anyone's watching this, but I did go to CX. I also went to Cash Converters to follow up a visit I'd made during the week, during which I had made a grave error. I saw a Game Boy game. It was a grey, original Game Boy game type cartridge. It had, and the label was, I mean, it stuck out to me straight away because the stuff never changes in there. It's shite. So it was like, okay, this is a new thing. That it was all the same rubbish, and then this was sitting in the middle amongst all this Game Boy Advance trash. It's a grey Game Boy cartridge. The label read Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, but on the side it had the Game Boy Color. On the side of the label, the Game Boy Color logo. And Game Boy Color games always appear on these. The Game Boy Color games are always in the see-through, usually green, cartridges, different shape, different design. I'm giving away the game that I'm actually talking about by showing this, but it's a good example. It's always in this kind of cartridge, which is a slightly different shape, and it's always see-through and of a certain color. But this was an original Game Boy style thing. It said Game Boy Color down one side. So I thought that's not right. And I mean, I didn't think there was a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater game for the Game Boy or Game Boy Color anyway, but as soon as I saw it, I remember there being one on the Game Boy Advance. And the best thing about it was this part where it normally reads, well, you can just about make out that this says, can you? Yeah, if I get light there, it says Game Boy Color. Well, on an ordinary Game Boy cartridge, as you probably know, in this kind of relief, or is relief out? It was, it's a little inset sort of bit. It says Game Boy. Well, this just said Game. It was such a shite counterfeit, and I've never seen so bad a counterfeit. The fake Game Boy games that I have been, they just look exactly the same. The resolution is maybe slightly poorer on the label, and it's maybe, the foil, especially on I've got a Pokemon Ruby that's fake, and the reflective foil it's still reflective, or it's still kind of, it's still got that reflective shiny quality, but it's not quite the same. But it's not actually poorer looking in quality, that aspect of it. It's just noticeably different. This was really fucking shite looking, and I said to the people there, I was like, look, I'm not upset about this, I'm just telling you so you know that game's a counterfeit, just in case you want to know. And they said, oh no, they looked, two women working there, they said, oh no, you can actually tell straight off, you're right. I think, yeah, just so you know, I'm not complaining, it's in case you wanted to know. And she said, yeah, that's good to know, well, it would matter to some people, so and she took it off, she took it out of cabinet and put it. I mean, I don't know what she did with it. But I was like, cool, that's fine. See you later. And as soon as I left the shop, I thought, why didn't I buy that? Because I saw always turn it over. It was £2, and I mean, I didn't. It's not that I expected it to be much money. It just didn't occur to me for some reason until I left the shop that would have been a really interesting thing to have. I've googled it since. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater Game Boy fake or counterfeit, and I can't find a picture of it. So I don't know that. Anyway, I don't know why I didn't turn. It's just pure awkwardness that I didn't turn around and just go, wait a minute, I'll take that off your hands, or I'll even bloody buy it for the same price. Which I maybe would have scanned for myself anyway, because I don't know what their policy would be like about, like, oh no, once we know something's counterfeit, we can't sell. I have no idea, but I will now never know because I fucked it for myself. So anyway, I went back today to be like, this happened. Is there any way that that's still lying around somewhere? Or there's one guy working there who just instantly went into sales mode. He was like, oh, well, in cash converters, you should just buy it, because it'll be gone. I don't think he understood that I was saying to him, this isn't something I went in, wanted, and decided to come back for and, lost it that way. This was something that I, whose loss to me I secured. I explained to him, it was counterfeit. It was taken off the shelf. It was put aside. I still don't think he wasn't really paying any attention to what I said. He was just trying to tell me I should spend money in cash converters without a second thought, which was not really, neither here nor there. Anyway, but the young guy who worked there, who I think must have been very new because he seemed very eager to please. He went into the back and asked people there. But I think he said, I got quite a few funny looks, but no, I'll keep an eye out for it. He seemed quite interested in the whole thing as well. So I think he got my curiosity. The other guy thought I was saying it was I was describing it to him. It just said game rather than Game Boy. And he said, oh yeah, well, it could have been one of these rarities. And, he didn't have a fucking clue what he was talking about, which is fine, no big deal. But so that's lost forever, it seems. I may yet go back and because it was the same people working there. One of the same women. Maybe they would remember, and she might know where it went. She might be able to tell me as well. No, I just chucked it in the bin because we can't sell it, and then I can go raking through the bins. No. Anyway, so that was that's the next step, actually, isn't it? So the actual thing, Pokemon Crystal, a game I never owned at the time. In fact, have never owned. And I don't think I've ever played it on cartridge. I played it on an emulator a couple times. In recent years, in fact, it was a while when I was playing games in German to kind of lightly practice, keep my German up. And that was one of the games I played. I decided not to play first generation Pokemon games because I didn't have a lot of faith in their translation. So, because in English it's ever so slightly unreliable. I thought other European languages would probably have even less resources for translation than English. So I thought second generation, and I'd never played Crystal, so I thought, that'd be nice. So Pokemon Crystal. I played it on emulator, but I think I used the speed up function quite a lot when I was playing it, and it's just not the same, or at least that's how I feel about it now. There was a time perhaps when I did get, I got a good experience out of playing games in emulated format or on re-release or whatever, but now it's not quite part of the reason I'm playing these games, and wouldn't be the same. It's not to say I wouldn't enjoy it in some respects. Anyway, so I've never had this game in the flesh. It wasn't that cheap. It's 30 quid, which is my experience of Pokemon games is they just never lose their value ever, with the exception, it seems, of Pokemon Sun and Moon. I have seen them go very cheap which is very strange. Almost no other Pokemon. I mean, like Pokemon Platinum, I saw there today for like £42 boxed, which is pretty funny because it's neither very old nor very new. Pokemon games just keep their value, so I guess like I'm not gonna probably find it for in CEX if that's how I'm determined to do my shopping rather than online, which kind of is true. I'm probably not going to get much cheaper than that, and it was today. I've not bought anything in there in a while. I thought, fuck it. Yeah, Pokemon Crystal, one of the second generation. I was thinking about this on my way back home. Just there, it's one of the. So they brought out two versions of Pokemon: Red and Blue, Gold and Silver, Ruby, Sapphire, Diamond and Pearl, and then they would traditionally bring out a third one. Pokemon Yellow for the first generation, Red, Blue, Yellow, Gold, Silver, Crystal. Bit of an odd. It's not really part of the convention there, but Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, and Diamond, Pearl, Platinum. Seems that Platinum should have been in the second generation and Crystal in the fourth, but anyway. It occurred to me that they don't really do that anymore, do they? They certainly didn't do it with the remakes, Fire Red, Leaf Green, blah blah blah, up to Omega and Alpha Sapphire, Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, which I've not played actually. They don't really do it anymore. Black and White was Black and White 2, and then Sun and Moon after that was X and Y. I never played anything after Black and White. I'd like to, but it's hard to catch up after this amount of time. On games that are all so similar, it's very much about when you're playing it, the ones that you enjoy more. They seem to just do sequels now. I know that Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon were a thing. Don't know about X and Y. I don't know if they did that, and it would have happened by now because Sword and Shield are out now. I wonder, it's easy to think of these multiple versions of a game cynically, or they're just getting more out of, because most people will not buy both gold and silver, for example, but the third verse is different enough that many people would buy, say, gold and crystal or silver and crystal. And I suppose by releasing two new versions, or essentially releasing two versions of the third game, are they potentially doubling their sales? Probably not double, but maybe it just does increase. So if you think of it cynically, which of course there's an element of that, then I suppose that's maybe why they just decided to do it that way. Two new versions instead of one, so making it up to 4. Don't know. I never played Black and White 2, but it just seemed wrong in a way. It was kind of nice, certainly with Emerald. There was a sense in which it felt like the complete version. It was almost better value than Ruby or Sapphire, although I do prefer Ruby to Emerald, because Emerald has like an extra dungeon in it, which just felt... It's one of the Team Magma hideouts that's new, and it just appears at a point when there's like lots of dungeons, and I found it just kind of clogs up the momentum of the game at that point around all the water stuff when you get into the ocean. Anyway, it seemed like the complete version. You could get Kyogre and Groudon, I believe. You could get Rayquaza. You got Rayquaza as kind of like part of the story, is that right? Or he appears then? Maybe you can only catch him later. Can't remember. But and certainly Yellow as a counterpart to Red and Blue. You could get all the starters. There was a sense in which it was a more complete version than buying only blue or only red. You could get the most out of one version of the game with the third subsequent release. So there being two, a black and white 2, black 2 and white 2. Don't know, I guess it just didn't seem exciting. It just didn't interest me. And maybe it also just happened to come out at a time when I was, just less inclined to be keeping up with the Pokemon games. I didn't buy a 3DS, so that's really why I didn't play Sun, Moon, X, or Y. So I guess that explains it. But Platinum especially was, more so, in my opinion, more so than being an advanced sort of edition of Diamond and Pearl. Cold. Diamond and Pearl were sort of a bit more incomplete, and Platinum was really the way that those games should have been in the first place. I remember feeling quite strongly the availability of certain kinds of Pokemon. Maybe it was early generation Pokemon, or maybe it was certain types. There just wasn't the variety, early enough in the game, or in the kind of the main game in Diamond and Pearl, that there ought to have been, and they rectified that for Platinum. So it's like Platinum was a correction of the kind of failings of Diamond and Pearl, rather than an enhanced version of them. It was just sort of the game they should have been. But I like Platinum for that reason, but it just sort of makes Diamond and Pearl. Diamond and Pearl I don't have a massive connection to. I think they're good. I actually played them quite a lot, but Anyway, so bloody hell, I've not talked a lot about Crystal. Crystal, there it is. Got that Comic Sans. That's pretty funny. Another kind of Game Boy oddity in that respect. There's evidence of sort of cheapness in even like really good, quite well produced games like the Pokemon games. It's funny as well how the Pokemon associated with each with each version, they kind of buck the trend almost. So red, blue, yellow, color wise, that's fine, but it's in terms of red, blue, yellow, that does follow a convention set up by the names of the other two. But then the Pokemon it's not one of the starters. You got Charmander or Charizard, Blastoise, and then Pikachu, who's just kind of got nothing to do with either of those two. And Gold, Silver, and Crystal, you've got the two legendary birds followed by a legendary dog, who kind of got some story element in this, I know, but it kind of just went in a different direction with that. And then Generation 3 was made a bit more sense. There were these three legendary Pokemon, and the third one, Rayquaza, was in both games, so it kind of made sense that it was. I'm going very deep into this. It's not that interesting, but it's not deep, but it's interesting, and a kind of don't know. My enthusiasm for this rambling has just fallen off a cliff, so I'm gonna leave it there. Cheers.